What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about some new information that just came out about Jurassic World Rebirth that is actually pretty shocking in comparison to some of the more recent entries in the franchise. Also, a couple of new dinosaur species might be popping up in this movie that have been on the down low as far as reporting goes, but the big news surrounding Jurassic World Rebirth happens to be some info on the movie's production and how there has been a gigantic overhaul in how these films are being made.
Theme park owners did experimental work.
Now, before we go into the really important stuff, I just want to say that 3 new species have been teased for Jurassic World Rebirth, but I'm not too sure they're going to be like front and center in the dinosaur action. The first of which is a returning animal, the Carnotaurus, which was in the last couple of movies, albeit this time with a new color scheme, if this suggested tie-in material is representative of the movie in general. Also, and way more interesting, is the appearance of a bright red new animal called the Diabloceratops. For a long time, there were rumors of some kind of ceratopsian dinosaur being in this movie, and if these new marketing materials are any indication for what we can see in the film, might not be Triceratops, could be this thing. And, well, that would be a pretty fun addition, even if it only winds up being a background animal, like the creature from Peter Jackson's King Kong was. Although it did get a really fun expanded scene. Now, the last little species is something called the Anorognathus, which is a small pterosaur that people are saying is going to be used in comparison to the giant-sized Quetzalcoatlus, just to show you the range and size that these animals have. And apparently, it's going to look green, like a tree frog. So now for the important stuff. We just got news that the budget for Jurassic World Rebirth cost less than half of what Jurassic World Dominion's budget did. The total number they're telling us now is $180 million. Now compare that to the last 2 movies, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's budget of $432 million and Jurassic World Dominion's budget of $265 million. Now keep in mind, they still have to spend a whole lot of more money on marketing to make sure people are aware that Jurassic World Rebirth is even coming to theaters, but this drastic slash in the price tag for a Jurassic Park movie is a significant difference when comparing it to its immediate predecessors, especially for how good the new movie looks. I think compared to the Jurassic World trilogy, what we've seen from Gareth Edwards' work on Rebirth so far is looking way more believable and grounded. So with this smaller budget, it really does go to show you that the production of this film had to be wildly different from not only Dominion, but Fallen Kingdom as well, and that this new team is not messing around. The reason a much smaller budget is so important to these big blockbuster style projects is because a lot of people have made the point that it limits what the filmmakers are able to do in some sense. So if you tell your director, hey, we don't have the $200 or even $400 million to make this movie with CGI and everything else, then you've got to think about things a little more conservatively, and that could help make the film more thought out and grounded instead of the idea of, look, anything you can imagine, we're going to make it happen in the computer immediately, which typically does come from the kinds of films with that kind of super inflated budget. We can see this kind of thing shown off in some of the ideas for the new movie as far as the smaller budget goes, like using Michael Crichton's idea for the T-Rex river raft sequence, the concept of an abandoned Jurassic Park facility, and even the concept of just staying in one location on an island instead of being gigantic in scope like the last couple of films were all over the world. So this means Jurassic World Rebirth might be going back to something of the simplicity of 2015's Jurassic World, which cost $150 million. And I think with inflation into account, Rebirth is less expensive than even that film was. Now, this also means that Jurassic World Rebirth is going to be a success even if the movie doesn't hit $1 billion, which is typically what a lot of people shoot for. For these big movies, you usually have to gross double your budget in order to be deemed successful, and I think Jurassic World Rebirth will be okay given this information. David Koepp's introduction to the new island, the expansive lore that he's going to bring in with the Mutodons and Distortus Rex tying into this new location, and maybe even the original Jurassic Park as well as the Jurassic World movies, and then you've got the new vehicles and action set pieces. All of this makes makes for a much smaller scaled, but more old school Jurassic Park story that is less expensive than the more recent films, while also being more grounded in reality, at least from what we've seen so far anyways. So these are all pretty good signs. Now, as far as how much money the movie could make is concerned, Jurassic Outpost reported that Jurassic World Rebirth might be tracking for a $165 to $185 million domestic box office opening, which is a pretty big splash if the information winds up being true. Now, I have seen other people saying that the movie will do something more like $135 to maybe $150 million, but time will tell how all of that plays out. Either way, it looks like interest is increasing as far as Jurassic World Rebirth is concerned, and that Superman and Fantastic Four may actually have a run for their money. Now, as for my own personal opinions on all of this new information, look, the idea of these new species is pretty cool, but I don't really think they're going to play any significant role in the film's plot, so yeah, I think they're fun. Also, I've seen some rumors of another T-Rex being in the movie, but that might not be something that is still in the final cut, so I wouldn't expect that, even if at one point in time this was planned for the new film. But when it comes to the actual success of Jurassic World Rebirth and what it may have, look, I think a smaller budget will do wonders for this movie. Gareth Edwards showed that he could take an $80 million movie like The Creator from 2023 and make that look incredible with that budget. And if you give him an additional $100 million to make a Jurassic Park sequel, I think it will look way better than what other people can put together. And as far as the box office itself is concerned, look, this is one of the most difficult Jurassic World movies I've ever had to really make theories or guesses about. I do think it will be okay. I think the reception financially could be anywhere from, I'll have a wide net here, maybe $750 million for a low point, all the way up to a possible $1.1 billion, or maybe even higher if the movie winds up having legs. That's like my general opinion. Now, I guess if I had to really make a better guess, and again, not so sure how accurate this will be, but maybe Jurassic World Rebirth will walk away with anywhere from $950 $15 million to a little over $1 billion. That's like my thoughts. Those are my guesses, and again, they could be wrong. The movie could be a $750 million box office hit, but it would still make it a decent success. It would be a hit. Now, as far as the critics and audiences are concerned, part of me thinks this will be the most well-received Jurassic movie since 2015, and that it could have similar results to the first Jurassic World as far as, you know, your Rotten Tomatoes and your IMDb and your movie review critics and stuff like that. I'm actually hoping it's higher. I would really like to see a Jurassic World movie get in the 80% percentile, or maybe even the 7 point something on IMDb, but only time will tell. Anyways, guys, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.